Hey, what's happening, guys? Mike from Metacomics coming at you with a review for the latest episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, The Dirty Half Dozen. This was the big Age of Ultron Avengers tie-in episode, and it was really awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. I think it's one of the top episodes of the season. Maybe not the top, but pretty darn close. This episode, we find Agent Coulson, who had turned himself into the other S.H.I.E.L.D, putting aside his differences, working alongside the other team in an effort to locate Von Strucker and Dr. List so that he can supposedly rescue Mike and Lincoln, who have been kidnapped by Hydra. But that's not really why he set up this mission. In fact, we find out later on, and here's some huge spoilers in case you haven't watched the episode. You might want to stop here and then come back later. The real reason Coulson went on this mission was to gather intel on Von Strucker's location, where he's holding Loki's scepter from the first Avengers movie, so that Coulson can give that intel to the Avengers, which we see him later do when he has a discussion with Maria Hill, who's in Avengers Tower, near the end of the episode. Now, this episode was fantastic for a lot of different reasons. One of the main things I really enjoyed about it was the massive character development that we get to see in Simmons. We've seen Simmons go from a very timid scientist, geeky, nerdy chick in Season 1 up all the way through Season 2 where we are right now, and she's transformed into this sort of like really kind of far out there psycho chick. Something's not quite right under the surface, elevator not going to the top floor, I could go on forever here, kind of character, which I think is really interesting, you know, how they've brought her along. And character development is something that's been very heavy in this show from its inception. So I mean, look at how far Sky's come, you know, from just being some, you know, hacker, kind of annoying character to, you know, Daisy Johnson, Quake, an Inhuman with superpowers, and, you know, she's really cool, actually. We get to see her in this episode totally kick rear end, man. She really just kicks butt everywhere. It's in the scene that features all of her big action sequences. It's very reminiscent of Daredevil, that hallway scene in episode 2. So I thought that was really cool too, seeing her really like come into her own as an agent, and it was really cool to see her join back with Coulson and the team for this episode. And I think that's another strong point of this particular episode, was the team dynamic, because now, you know, in this episode they have Ward thrown back in the mix, and he just thinks everything's going to go back to normal and everybody's going to treat him like it's old times, and he finds out very quickly that's not at all the case. These people have not forgiven him for his betrayals, and any kind of action he's taking to kind of make up for what he did is just too little too late at this point. So yeah, we have the great action, a lot of great character development. What I really enjoyed was how they tied it into Age of Ultron. This is definitely their best tie-in episode ever, and I thought the stuff they did to tie into Winter Soldier was great, but this tops that. No doubt about it. It wasn't just the scepter, even though that was like the big piece. What was really cool was Raina, who is kind of coming into her own with her power of clairvoyance, actually has a vision of Ultron and the Ultron bots destroying cities all over the place. She talks about metal men and you know, how they are, you know, wreaking havoc and destruction everywhere, and how the world will never be the same after this. And I thought that was really cool. It was like, oh man, you know, it really builds the anticipation and excitement up for Age of Ultron, which I'm going to see like a buttload of times this weekend. So overall, there was really good action. There was really good, you know, character development, really pushing the plot forward towards the season finale. Really good episode. I give it a 9.5. Go check it out if you haven't already. It's definitely worth it. And yeah, that's all I got for this one, guys. I'll see you in the next one.